Hello, welcome to Tpull's Corner. This is your host, Travis, and welcome to day 23 of Evergreen Month. We are taking one key mechanic that Wizards of the Coast has defined in their game, and we're going on to the arena. We're making unique decks every day. Today, we're going to be talking about Prowess, and we're going to make a deck that takes advantage of that particular trait as much as possible. Now, this one's going to be difficult because under the current modern standard, I don't have a ton of cards that have Prowess, but we did take the ones that we have, and we crafted a deck around them. Now, the definition is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, the creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So that implies for instants, sorceries, enchantments, anything that's not a creature spell, they'll get added onto for the +1/+1, but then it goes away. There are some other cards that you can add on that, like companion creature cards that also have benefits and stuff like that. Those are out there on YouTube if you want to look at those. This is what I put together among the cards that I have available to me, because we have sort of an artificial limitation. This is sort of designed for new players to tell new players that you don't need to spend a fortune, because sometimes you can go on and you can face a brand new opponent, right, and you've got your deck that you just started with, and suddenly they've got like 4 copies of the mythic rare card, and then they have like 4 different cards and they're all mythic rares and they just killed you in 5 turns and this is totally not fair. And so what we do is right now we've got an artificial limitation. We're not spending gold, we're not buying packs, we're not using our wild cards. We are only winning games on the arena and opening those packs and adding those to our digital collection, and we make our decks with that. And by the royal we, I mean me, Travis. So this is what we put together by what we had available. And the overview is that's not 250 creatures. There we go. You have to wait for that to resolve. 14 creatures, 24 lands, and we have a lot of non-creature spells. You see we have 20 instants to take advantage of the Prowess mechanic. So we'll start with the 1-drops. We've got 1 copy of Annul to counter our artifacts or enchantments, 1 Shock to take out somebody real quick if we need to, Spikefield Hazard, which we can use as an extra land if we need to, Essence Scatter to counter target creature spell, 3 copies of Frantic Inventory to draw through our deck, 1 copy of Jeskai Elder, again to draw through our deck if we need to, Medomai's Prophecy. This is fastly turning into one of my favorite cards. I know I should say quickly, but whenever I get on Magic Arena, I like to say fastly for some reason. 3 copies of Negate to counter target non-creature spell, 1 copy of Blitz of the Thunder-Raptor. Since we're using so many instants, this one gets better the more instants that you have in your graveyard already. So if there gets to be a really big creature later, if we can save it that long, if we can hold it in our hand that long, say we get it early, you want to hold this as long as you can and take out as big a creature as you want to. Or it also works on Planeswalkers. Cinderclasm to take out the 1/1s if they're trying to swarm you. 4 copies of Heartfire Immolator. Now this is our first Prowess creature. He's a 2/2. So basically, if you just cast 1 instant for the turn, he'll become a 3/3. But if you say you cast 3 in a turn, he'll become a 5/5. In the meantime, depending on what you're facing, it's possible you might be able to pump him up just enough to then sacrifice him and deal damage to a target creature that otherwise you wouldn't be able to take out. Scorching Dragonfire, again, creature control. 2 copies of Expressive Iteration. This is from the Strixhaven expansion. This is a good card to dig through your deck. 1 Teach by Example to copy your next instant or sorcery spell. This kind of encourages you to get your Prowess creatures out on the field and then do more than 1 spell at the same time. You can cast this spell to start with, then cast another spell to copy it, and then hopefully you've got 2, 3, 4 creatures that will all benefit from the Prowess. Okay, here's Mistral Singer. So, because we need to have some flying, right? She's got flying and Prowess. 1 copy of Demon Bolt. 1 copy of Final Flare. 1 copy of Soul Sear, just in case we encounter that indestructible creature. Rootha, Mercurial Artist. This is from Strixhaven as well. You can pay 2 to return the artist to the owner's hand. This way, you can do this card for a couple of different ways. One is just to use her as a chump blocker, and if they get tired of her and try and get rid of her, hopefully you've got enough free mana that you could bring her back and then bring her back down again. She can be, creatures like this can be real irritating if you keep bringing them back. The second ability is sort of like a permanent Teach by Example. You can copy an instant or sorcery spell that you control and even choose new copies. 3 copies of Goblin Wizardry. This is an instant itself and actually creates Goblin Wizard creature tokens, you can see to the right there, and the tokens themselves have prowess. 1 copy of Experimental Overlord. Sorry, not Overlord, Overload. So the way this works is you have a number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. You get to create a weird creature token, then return an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. This card itself gets exiled. Normally people try and put more copies of this in the deck. With this particular deck, it doesn't work that well because you can have too many of those up front in your hand. And you really need to have it come up later when you've already had a chance to fill your graveyard. And there are other cards, like you might have 4 copies of Opt, for example, in your deck normally to fill your graveyard faster if you wanted multiple experimental overloads. So I tend to play test my deck until I find I've got the right balance of this card when I'm using it. For me, it usually doesn't make sense to put 4 copies in. It doesn't work out well for me. Your mileage may vary. Maelstrom Muse. This is a Djinn Wizard. He's got flying. Whenever he attacks, the next instant or sorcery spell costs X less to cast. So he doesn't have prowess, so you can't beef him up. That would be, or her. That would be kind of cool if you could. But if you've got a limited number of mana out in the beginning, but you've got a couple of different instant spells and some prowess creatures down on the battlefield, this will help you cast the multiple spells and beef up your creatures faster if you need to. Shipwreck Dowser. We have 4 copies of this card. It's a 5 casting to get down. You get to return an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So imagine if you already have a prowess creature down on the board, you cast shock on a 4/4 creature, cast this creature, bring the shock back to your hand, use the shock to kill the other creature. Your other prowess creatures are pumped up +2/+2 by now. This can be a really nice card. So we've got 4 of it. And we've got 1 copy of Stormwing Entity, which is also another flyer with prowess. It costs 3 less to cast if you've already cast an instant or sorcery spell for the turn. And when it enters the battlefield, you also get to scry 2. The rest is the lands. So we're going to take this deck out for a spin. It's not, how do I want to put this? This is probably not a competitive deck that you could do for ranked play. It's mostly put together just to show off the nature of the prowess mechanic. So if you're liking what you see, hit the like button. If you want to see other stuff that we're putting out, hit the subscribe button. Okay, on to the gameplay. Alright, that's enough to start. Lots of cards to play against here. Glad we're not trying to mill them. Always make sure you can play your 1-drop. It's not usual to see an artifact or an enchantment played quite this early. But you just want to be prepared, just like in the Scouts. If I do this in the right order, I could maybe play a song with all this gold. Is that an artifact? I get to use my Annul on the first turn? That is so awesome, thank you. Alright, we use the one mana to get rid of the creature real fast. Lets us use the prowess to pump up our damage, so we make maximum utilization of what resources we have. We didn't want to trade off on the Heartfire Immolator. We've got a small number of creatures. We do want to protect them as much as possible. That's why I have 3 negates in here. The Mirror Shield could present a big problem for us later. So it looks like we're up against an equipment kind of deck. I just need one more land to get us going. Our creatures start out small enough that our enemy can afford to wait a little bit. They're just putting out artifact after artifact. Expect to see some D&D creatures very soon. This will foretell that. They're letting us get the hits in. We didn't need to worry. We don't have a counterspell to protect the Immolator, so there's no sense in holding on to things. Nice little 5-power creature. This is why I'm okay with having Final Flare in here. I can get rid of a 1/1 token creature if it'll get rid of this guy. This is a problem. So we're going to have to block with one. And then sacrifice with the other, so we're going to lose both. Assuming he doesn't have something to pump it up even further. Just attacking with the Immolator so that we can keep his life down a little bit. He's going to get all of it back with Shadow Spear. He likes all of his toys. He's going to get all of them back. That's fine. He's got a large deck unless he has something to shuffle real quick. He'll stay on the bottom. Okay, his colorless creature's going to get extra +2. So we're going to have to burn some stuff now. What else can you do with the 1 mana? You hate doing this on third turn because you lose all of that prowess ability. But we didn't want to have to deal with a 6/8 creature. And it could just be that he doesn't have an instant, but he's got this Shadow Sphere thing. This happens a lot. They can spend 1 mana with it and make all permanents lose hexproof and indestructible. We don't have that, so it would be useless, but if they forget about it, it's going to hold up every action that we take for the entire match. Something you got to live with. He didn't go learn to get that, he just had that in his deck because he wanted it. He's always got that 1 mana free though, so I've got to remind him. I may have to start reminding him a lot. But then maybe he wants to read the card. Very nice. That's why we have this. No, there's nothing you can do. Now we don't have another instant, so we can't kill him this turn. But we can bring him down for cheap. Let me go, please. Come on. There you go. Okay, we don't need more land right now. I guess we could dig further in case this lasts one more turn. See if he can pull a rabbit out of his head with the top deck. You need reach or flying or something at this point to stop me and block me. And you didn't get it. No way to get health, right? Pump up all my guys one final time. That's enough. He didn't want to hang out for that. Well, he made us wait a long time on each time. That's okay. That's how the prowess works. That's a good first match to describe and show you how everything works with that particular mechanic. Let's try it again and see what happens. Alright, we're going to keep what we got. Gruesome looking deck skin there. Disgusting. Except you don't have enough mana so you can put somebody on and equip it in the same turn unless you got a 1/1 haster. You have a first striker. Okay, so what do we want to do with you? Normally we would want to kill you because you've already got an artifact there. We don't want to put up with a 4/1 first striker. And you're tapped out, so we're waiting for him to decide if he wants to sacrifice his artifact or not. There you go. And we get pumped up with prowess right away. Every single point counts. They all add up. Nice little equipment treasure deck you have there. Let's see. We're gonna have to pace ourselves. All that does is give him +2, right? More treasure, more talismans. He's got enough stuff built up now. All he has to do is sort of sit back and keep attacking us. Because he can equip this or this. He can't do both. He wants to get that 2/2 life stuff going on. And the treasure. Not sure why I used that treasure for that. He knew I had this card. Armory Veteran. Well, that's 4 creatures we've gone through. He doesn't have anything more to bring up the endurance, though. So we're going to be okay here. As long as he doesn't have removal. Okay. Bring our boys down. Choose the blocker. He's got enough other artifacts. Maybe that would be good to have up front. We pumped him up so that he might be impressed enough to try and block. No? It was worth a shot. We can't say that's another creature. We can't stop that. We're kind of okay right now with them using up all their treasures, but this is going to hurt. We need a way to kill the creatures as fast as possible. Okay, so we'll go ahead and say that we're going to put down the Heartfire Immolator next turn. And we'll put this one down now. A Vorpal Sword. Oh, great. +2 and Death Touch, and he can equip it this turn. And let's see, whenever it deals damage to the player. That's a nice card. I think I actually might have a copy of that already. Sorry, I'm just admiring the artwork. We're not going to let you actually have that. Come on. Gonna lose him, right? And just because you have so much disgusting stuff built up that'll hurt us. Oh yes, please. Use up all your treasures for that. Because we're just gonna kill you. Alright. We make good use of Medomai's Prophecy. Let's see. Do we want to thin the deck first, I guess? Then we'll do the Expressive Iteration. Let's see. We'll put this one into our hand. Put that back into our library. I'm not too concerned about extra land right this second. That didn't kill it. It only did -1. You sure that was what you wanted to do? Okay, so they got a Prince of the Undeath coming out. Gross. Let's see. Oh, never mind. He decided he had enough. He doesn't know it, but we did have this, and that would have ruined his day. But it's interesting, he's actually got higher health than he started out with. He had us nearly dead. He had a pretty cool card, but just the fact that we got to look at it and see what was going to happen, he was scared enough to ditch the entire game. That's leaving a little prematurely, although I was starting to feel comfortable about our chances. Anyway, on to the next. We seem to be getting Annul first in our hand a lot. I wonder if it's got some special bonus. Artifact creature to wall! No, we get to use our spell. I'm not going to hold that. We're going to make you feel bad. We're going to make you feel nervous. Because we've got counters already. And we're beating you. No! You're not even going to get to scry. No. Had another spell? Man, you got cheap spells. Was not interested in taking away the Soul Sear. Which means either they don't have much in the way of creatures to worry about, or they've got another discard spell they're just aching to use on me this turn. We got it now, we'll use it now. We know we have it. You have counter spells. Yes, you do. Like the artwork. Going down the Mad Mage. You want the surprise prize? The blue draw deck wants the draw 3 bonus. I would have preferred if we lost our instance so we could fill the library with our instance, but c'est la vie. I guess we'll foretell that. Gross. Now, if he has a counterspell, we're in trouble. But yes. we've got enough to pay the ward spell. Shoot. Alright, this is what we got left right now. And we do not have... Okay, so... Hang on, how much mana do I have available? I've only got 3? Shoot. I guess we have to put that in our hand. This will go back into our library. Sorry, Jeskai. Well, no, I can still afford to put you down. They're going to get a free hit on us this time, I think. But they're top decking now. So, I don't think we need more land right this second. We've got just enough. And let's get the Soul Sear. Get that back. That's enough to kill him. And we have enough to pay the ward cost. They're going to get to make use out of their Secret Keeper. Okay, you know what? We're going to take advantage that we've got them all pumped up. 3 creatures on Prowess, you make use of it. Do I want to draw a card? Yeah, why not? Okay. We'll take it. We'll try and hold on to it. Let's see, if they tap this and keep it tapped. Ah. That was bad timing. I wanted to keep that card. Didn't have enough mana to spend on it. I guess I didn't have enough land after all. You don't need to bother drawing just to discard. If I get another land, I'll just hold it for that purpose. They're still not using their black staff. But they can't kill any of us either. So we're going to do this one point at a time. This seems like an overpowered card compared to the usual discard cards. That's pretty cheap. Alright. He didn't use his card. I'm going to attack with everybody. Oh, he got a card draw out of it. So sweet. Okay, this is where we finally start to make use of our extra lands because we've got Jeskai Elder out. The clock! Can we beat the clock? Not with as much spare mana as he's got. Kind of surprised he hasn't been using this yet. Could activate it now. Oh, he's waiting. He wanted not to do it with the Secret Keeper. He wants to do it with the Midnight Clock. Interesting choice. Okay, so that shuts down my card draw with Jeskai Elder to ditch my extra lands. What can we do? Let's do this anyway. You're not going to get your card draw with the Midnight Clock. You know what? You can't use Secret Keeper. I keep thinking you can only use that on an artifact. I kept thinking of this as an artifact. Okay, we're back to attacking. We don't need to attack with these little guys. Okay, those two, they can stay back. Did not stop to block the Elder. Interesting choice. You think they would have learned about this by now? Ooh, that's a handy card to get right now. Get two for the price of one. Oh, and that's all they need. That's enough for them. 3 in a row, that's better than I thought we were going to do. By all statistical averages, the magic sorting algorithm that deals me my cards in the deck should make sure I lose the next one. Shall we see? I can hear the sounds, we just gotta wait it out. There we go. And we get to go first. I'll take it. Will not complain. I think I mentioned how I don't want too many of these up front because they start off with 0, and if I cast it as soon as I'm able to with 4 lands, it would be a 0/0 creature. I really need time to build up the graveyard, especially with this deck. Imagine if I had 4 copies of that in this deck. We would lose hard time. Let's see. We'll start with blue. Prowess is effective sometimes because they're not really taking it into the calculation when you go to do your attacks. If you start off as a 2/2 and you attack in for a 2/2, they're not really concerned about that. If you manage to throw out an instant and, oh, he pumps up by 1 for 1 turn, yeah, you know, how concerned are you about it really? But later on, when your health starts to get low, and suddenly you start to be wary, by then it might be too late, because by then we might have built up enough land, and then we can build up faster than you're prepared for. We're keeping our powder dry for a negate. He might have a scry spell. He might have a counter spell. Being able to counter his counter spell would be nice. Okay. Sometimes we can use blue's power against them. Let's see. They want to do that to me. That's a creature, right? So I can't use negate. That is a nice card. I'm not sure what he's taking so long to do. Sometimes it could just be a disruption in their connection. Land. That wasn't what I wanted. You see, I'm still doing no good with experimental overload. The shock's not going to help me. This is basically all I can do right now. And he can dissolve my Immolator if he wants to. I can't negate anything. Nice. See, that bonus right there could win him the game. Could put him way too far ahead of me. I was trying to hold on to Frantic Inventory until I had a couple of creatures out with prowess that would benefit from it. It doesn't seem to have mattered too much no matter what I try and do. He's got just as much land. He's coming with some answers. Although I don't think he can afford to do anything else, so if we do this... do we get our creature back? That was the main thing. Thank you! We wanted the creature back. He didn't have summoning sickness, does he? I want to be able to attack with him. Hooah! And still enough for a negate. But you got plenty of land and a full hand. Lots of options. What can you do to me? Not to me, just to my creatures. What can you do to my creatures? That's what I'm expecting. Miss me. He's thinking about it. He's spending a long... He's looking at all my creatures. He's looking at his foretell cards. He's starting to rope because he is frozen with indecision. Another creature? Took the Elder. Interesting choice. That only works as long as you control somebody, right? Ta-da! Now, Jeskai has Elder, but she wasn't under our control when we cast the spell, so she doesn't get pumped up, unfortunately. But that's okay, because it's 20-4, and I was sure that we were going to lose just because we already won the last 3 matches. And I was also a little doubtful coming into this entire match just because I had a relatively small number of creatures that have prowess. I threw everybody I had into the deck, basically. And that is not going to help you. 100% win. Who would have expected? With prowess, no less. If that doesn't convince you to give the cards a try and fit them into your deck, I don't know what will. That's better than anything we've done so far to date. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for our gameplay. I was really pleased with the way that turned out. It gives you a lot of flexibility. If you have just a ton of instants and sorceries and enchantments that you can build into your deck, you really have a lot of choices as far as where and when you can pump these guys up, just enough to maybe take out the opposing creatures or to put the finishing touches on your opponent. So yeah, I think this is a relatively lesser used mechanic overall in the game by Magic. We could probably stand to see a few more cards in the expansions come out with the prowess capability. It would be cool for me, I think, to put together a bigger prowess tribal deck, so to speak. There are some other cards that are commonly matched up with prowess. They are so common that I didn't want to try and do that here. So just go on YouTube and search for prowess decks, and if you want to get some more ideas for some good stuff that's already been done, I always try and put up something unique that is not just out of cookie cutter what everybody else is doing, just to give people a chance to stretch their imaginations, see the different combinations that you can do with all these different Magic cards. That's also why I don't do a lot of 4 copies necessarily on everything. You see, the only things I did was the Immolator and the Dowser, and everything else is less than 4 copies, so I have a lot of variety and a lot of options. But that's our deck. That's the day for us. If you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button. If you want to come around again, hit the subscribe button. And we're getting near the end of Evergreen month. And at the end, I'll tell you right now, I'll tease it out. On the 31st day, we're going to probably do this live on Twitch. We're going to take all the decks we've been, or not the decks, but all the packs I've been hoarding for the past month or so. And we're going to try and open them all up as fast as we can. Well, let me revise that. I don't know how fast we're going to go, because if I get a brand new Mythic Rare card that stuns me, I might just freeze on that for a while and dwell on it, just because I'm so happy with it. So we'll see. But that's what we're looking to do to conclude the Evergreen month. I just wanted to bring that up and give that something for you to think about in terms of, hey, do you want to subscribe? Do you want to be notified when we're coming out with new content? We're going to come out with new content. We're going to come out with a deck every day for the rest of the month. So that's another full week of content. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe. With that, we're out for the day. Hope you had fun. Have a good one.